Do you remember the fable of Pinocchio? Now, the famous fairy tale read to you as a child is making a comeback, but you can be sure this journey will be much more complicated, and we are absolutely not lying about this. But does the title have what it takes to actually be the best Soulslike in 2023? Don't waste any more time and bring Pinocchio to life by liking, subscribing and turning on notifications. Also, in this video, we've hidden a secret for you. Let's hop in and face the truth. Lies of P is the brutal horror version of Pinocchio in a Souls-like format. The game is set in the late 19th century of the Belle Epoque era in Europe, within a fictional city called Krat. Once a beautiful and prosperous place, coupled with the creation of animated dolls, the city has morphed into a technological nightmare due to deadly plague. Curiously, the elderly puppet maker, Geppetto, appears to be somehow linked to this catastrophe. However, since his whereabouts remain a mystery, his masterpiece, Pinocchio, is dispatched to Krat to locate him and unveil the truth, shrouded in darkness. Right at the Krat train station, it becomes evident that the metal boy won't rely solely on lies and diligence to overcome the challenges. The once guardian dolls, hoarders and actors now roam the streets, attacking any living beings in sight. Fortunately, our puppet mechanoid happens to be a gifted swordsman. The outstanding feature that sets this game apart from its competitors is undoubtedly the robot enemies. Their movements make them look more sinister than usual zombies or knights you know from other Souls-likes, and much more brutal to read. While conventional enemies tend to follow predictable attack patterns, the sneaky robots here are a completely different story. They strike suddenly, pause randomly, spin with increased speed, or perform quick blows. The Parade Master, one of the 3 demo bosses, is a prime example of these unnatural, unsettling movements. Its eerie appearance is only surpassed by the teeth-grinding intensity of the combat it offers. Here, the Soulslike delivers us not only particularly tough but story-driven, absolutely original combat that breaks with the Souls-like routine and breathes fresh air into the genre. However, the gameplay is very hard, especially for newcomers. Lies of P proves it is carved out of the genre it took inspiration from. Say hello to abilities like dodging, blocking, and features like dive attacks and backstabs. Tough opponents can also be brought into a groggy state with attacks, so that you can finish them off that way. Another original feature shows up in the weaponry. Pinocchio has 2 essential armaments, the so-called Legion arms, with which you can perform attacks like shockwaves or flame blasts, and the actual weapons. And here's where it gets interesting. While you found and upgraded certain weapons in games like Elden Ring or Dark Souls, Lies of P divides them into blades and handles. They not only have their own unique abilities, but you can also freely combine them with each other. Thus, moveset and damage type can be freely determined, which is just as important in Souls-like games as high base damage. However, there are limitations. To counteract exploits, the game scales down the stats accordingly. For example, should you combine a slow, heavy greatsword blade with a fast saber grip? Could have worked. Damn it. So crafting weapons holds the potential for a vast array of combinations, and this potential gets bigger exponentially with each new discovery. The fights give you plenty of reason to tinker with your weapons because hit feedback is rich, the enemy placement seems coherent, and the animations are impressive. Nonetheless, we must criticize the main character's somewhat stiff movement. Although our hero doesn't look like he's been carved out, but rather like a 16-year-old top model, Pinocchio sometimes feels like a block of wood when dodging. This makes smooth movement in combat almost impossible. We hope that the developers will do some fine-tuning here. After all, in a Soulslike game, a dodge roll should not be inferior to a sword slash in terms of smoothness. These inconsistent aspects especially hurt during nasty boss fights. However, that doesn't change the fact that the game is fun and plays cleanly, embedded in a convincingly gloomy setting. The city of Krat is as beautiful as it's intimidating and decorated with many details. A particular highlight here is the Hotel Krat, which you can already visit in the release demo. The characters are lovingly designed and the atmosphere is dense. Since the story is based on the original tale, Pinocchio and Geppetto are not the only famous characters making a comeback. And of course, the game also lives up to its title. As Lies of P reimagines Pinocchio's narrative, it's unsurprising that an essential component will be the lie system, which is integral to the overall gameplay. While the precise mechanics of the systems are yet to be fully revealed, developers developer neowiz has hinted that player choices and dialogue responses will contribute to it. For instance, Pinocchio's answer to a question influences the accumulation of humanity points, steering the story towards various endings. Moreover, this choice-driven dynamic impacts Pinocchio's interactions with NPCs, the adversaries he encounters, and potentially more, shaping a richly diverse player experience. Then there is Antonia. As proprietor of the Krat Hotel, she shares a long-standing friendship with Geppetto, reputedly well acquainted with all the hidden truths of Krat. Following the catastrophe, Antonia generously welcomed all survivors into her hotel, offering it as a protective haven. Her name obviously draws its inspiration from the Master Antonio character in the original novel. This skilled carpenter stumbled upon a wooden log to be sculpted into a table leg, but preferred to give it to Geppetto. The lovely cricket has also made its way into the game. Referred to as Gemini here, it dangles from our belt like a lantern and often provides commentary on the game world and significant events. Also, the 4 black rabbits, who work for death and carry a coffin in the original story, reappear here as a group of blood-curdling assassinators. liesofp looks good in front of its peers with the enemies, setting and weapon building options. Looking also at the new in-game footage, it could have what it takes to be a contender for the best Souls-like of the year. The title will hit the market on September 19th for PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series XS and PC. Until then, you can already swing your blades in the demo. Thanks for watching. What do you think about this title? Could it outrank games like Elden Ring, or does it simply coexist as a good Souls-like? We look forward to your comment. Now, you know the deal. Like, dislike? Please show it with your thumb. More videos are coming soon, and for more content, check out our website, yourgames.tv, and follow us on Twitter @yourgtv. See you in the next one, ballers.